He is known as the contemporary king of concealed weapons. Even the eating spoon can be super lethal. Some people tease that he is the most dangerous character on the net, because he can use any tool in daily life as a weapon, such as chopsticks, spoons, wrenches, screwdrivers, etc., and even the unobtrusive ruler can be hit into the wood by his power. When an ordinary embroidery needle is blown by him, not only is it extremely accurate, the damage is comparable to that of a bullet. This move has made countless achievements in the ancient assassination, and the ancient people gave the name of blowing needle. His body in the end also hides how many unknown hidden weapons kill, then led us into the Xinjiang boys' hidden weapons world. It is said that the masters in the folk, the video of the long hair flowing man is a typical folk masters. He comes from an ordinary family in Xinjiang, Hunan province, and is one of the few inheritors of ancient Chinese martial arts techniques in the world. Since he was a child, he had a strong interest in cold weapons in Chinese martial arts, so he made up his mind to study the essence of concealed weapons over and over again. In order to enhance the lethality of the concealed weapon, he did not put much effort in strength training. In this way, day after day, year after year, for more than 10 years, he never stopped training. He mastered the concealed weapon kung fu to perfection. Flying knives were casually swung by him, directly piercing through the entire body of the sheep. When he suddenly turns around during the chopping process, the chopper hits the designated target as if it were a sniper's rifle. His concealed weapon kung fu is not only powerful, but also extremely accurate, which can be said to be a bullet without 100 hits. Moving target shooting is a piece of cake for him. A bamboo pole 10 meters away was pierced by one of his darts. He even challenged a very difficult flying dagger to chop a candle, but the candle was still extinguished by his dart. His concealed weapon kung fu has reached its peak, and any branch in his hands is enough to kill. Not only that, he also has an in-depth study of the bow and arrow, which has the title of the first of 100 soldiers, and can be said to be accurate and never miss. In addition, he is also well versed in the ancient assassination record of martial arts, blowing needle popping balloons, blowing needle broken bottle. Even the target of the very small cigarettes were also easily hit by him. This powerful power and accuracy is obvious. I have to admit that Chinese kung fu is really powerful. Maybe there is such a master beside you. This is an actual image of the September 1945 occupation of Tokyo, the capital of Japan, by U.S. forces. At 8 a.m. on September 8, the U.S. Army's 1st Cavalry Division, the first Allied unit to enter Tokyo for the occupation, was greeted at the roadside by Japanese children carrying British and American flags. By about 8:30 a.m., Allied Commander-in-Chief MacArthur entered Tokyo escorted by the 2nd Squadron of the 7th Cavalry Regiment and the 302nd Reconnaissance Troop, as well as a divisional band carrying military and divisional flags. MacArthur was greeted by Chase, commander of the U.S. Army's 1st Cavalry Division, in front of the U.S. Embassy adjacent to the imperial residence of the Emperor of Japan, along with Commander-in-Chief Halsey of the U.S. 3rd Fleet. At 5 p.m., MacArthur, accompanied by Halsey and Chase, presided over the flag-raising ceremony at the U.S. Embassy, swearing the official takeover of the Japanese capital. The U.S. flag hoisted by the U.S. Army has quite a history. It is the original Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor when hanging in the U.S. Congress on the flag. After the surrender of Italy and Germany, the Americans had raised the flag in Rome and Berlin before appearing over the Japanese surrender ceremony on the battleship Missouri. Now comes a shot of Halsey, Commander-in-Chief of the U.S. 3rd Fleet, who accompanied MacArthur into Tokyo. MacArthur returned to his command in Yokohama shortly after the flag-raising ceremony, while Halsey visited the 1st Cavalry Division occupying Tokyo. Of more interest to the media on hand, however, was whether Halsey's originally declared wishes to the public could now be realized. He had made it a point to say that after defeating Japan he would ride around Tokyo on the Emperor's imperial horse, a statement that naturally drew the admiration of countless Americans. And now that Tokyo had been occupied, it was time to fulfill the promise. But Halsey's wish to ride Emperor Hirohito's imperial horse is obviously impossible to realize, but riding a horse in Japan's capital city of Tokyo can become a reality. Facing the expectant cameras of the media, Halsey took a few steps on a US-provided horse on the soil of Tokyo, which was almost a fulfillment of his wish. 3 months later, Halsey was promoted to 5-star general, though he retired 2 years later, and he never ended up riding Emperor Hirohito's white horse. This is known as the world's sharpest knife, water jet, cutting a dozen centimeters thick steel plate like cutting tofu, glass, rock and other materials is easy to cut. This water jet, also known as high-pressure water jet cutting technology, which first originated in the United States, through the ultra-high pressure pump will be converted into tap water, ionized water and strong compression, the water pressurized to hundreds of megapascals, through the tiny diameter of the nozzle shot. The formation of a speed of nearly 1,000 meters per second of the water arrows to the material to be cut and processed. It cuts out the object is not only smooth and flat, and cutting the heat generated by the high-speed flow of the water jet will be immediately taken away directly, the material properties of the processed object will not change. At the same time, this cutting technology is not only simple to operate, and environmental protection and dust-free, highly favored by the industrial cutting, there is no doubt that this technology will become the mainstream equipment for industrial cutting. Some friends may wonder, water jet cut steel as if cutting tofu in general, if it is used to cut wood, will not cut through the workbench. In fact, it will not. Generally speaking, the water jet will be cut according to the different materials are divided into low-pressure type and high-pressure type and ultra-high pressure, usually 100 megapascals as the boundary, 200 megapascals above that is ultra-high pressure. Some friends may not have the concept of 100 megapascals, it's okay, let's do a conversion. Megapascals as a unit of pressure, 100 megapascals is 1 million pascals, 1 pascals is equal to 1 Newton per square meter. Then 100 megapascals is equivalent to each square meter to withstand the pressure of 1 million newtons. This pressure, if the unit of 1 square meter imposed on our ordinary car, then the car will basically become a thin piece of iron. Now you can imagine 200 megapascals of ultra-high pressure is a concept. At present, the ultra-high pressure technology is as high as 600 MPa. It is no exaggeration to say that the diamond cannot resist the strength of this ultra-high pressure. However, this did not meet the pursuit of efficiency. In order to increase the cutting efficiency of rice more speed, people in the high-pressure water flow to add diamond, garnet sand and other auxiliary abrasives, greatly increasing the cutting power of the water jet. Through the computer control, water jet easily realized the precision, fast arbitrary cutting, wherever, cut iron like mud. So in front of such a powerful power, what else do you think it can't cut? This girl insisted on performing in the pouring rain, and even though she fell into the water 1,000 times, she still smiled and climbed back up. She is the new generation of Guizhou's one bamboo rafting inheritor Yang Lu. The one bamboo rafting, also known as one bamboo boat, has a history of more than 1,000 years. Originally, it was just a means of transportation invented by the ancestors on both sides of the Qishui River for the convenience of traveling, and now it has gradually evolved into a sports activity. It requires the performer to stand barefoot on a Nanju bamboo and hold a thin bamboo in his hand for balance. At the age of 25, Yang Lu is already a veteran with 18 years of experience in bamboo rafting. Do not need any assistance, just stand on a bamboo. She can easily complete a variety of difficult movements, if man squatting, splitting, are a piece of cake. To achieve such a human bamboo unity realm, you must choose the bamboo deep in the bamboo forest on the slope of the Nanju, and the diameter should be controlled in 14 to 16 centimeters, and the length shall not exceed 8 meters. Such a good toughness of the bamboo, not easy to crack. After selecting the required bamboo, the next step is to develop the ability to walk on water. When Yang Lu was only 7 years old, her grandmother took her to practice drifting with a bamboo raft to strengthen her body because she was weak. There was no shortcut to learning how to float, and she had to learn by falling over and over again. In her childhood, she was often bruised and swollen, but she also honed her resilience. After learning that she had become a non-hereditary heir, she decided to innovate this non-hereditary skill, so that more young people would know about the one bamboo float. Yang Lu boldly integrated the various dances she had learned into the performance of the bamboo float, but the process was not as easy as she had imagined. The water-stained bamboo surface is wet and slippery, and it is not easy to stand on it, let alone dance on it. And the most difficult is offshore jumping bamboo. In the absence of any support, a bamboo will be with the current constantly undulating down. To land steadily on the bamboo will need a strong balance. In order to practice a good sense of balance, Yang Lu even wearing high heels to increase the difficulty, jumping on the bamboo. After unremitting efforts, she is now able to perform various dance moves with ease. Together with the characteristics of different ethnic costumes, Yang Lu on the river is as dreamy as a fairy, just like the myth of crossing the river with a reed reappearing. It's a principle that many people don't understand until they graduate. A coil of 12 volts AC can heat metal to 800 degrees Celsius, but it doesn't do anything to the human body, so how does it work? What is the principle behind this? A coil that can be approached by hand, but not by metal, seems to go against what we know as the basic knowledge of electricity. But this is not the case. We will explore this scientific mystery. Why does not work on the human body coil, metal once close to, then with the fire are also feverish fast? What is going on? In fact, this phenomenon was discovered by a French physicist named Léon Foucault, who discovered that by winding a wire into a coil and applying an alternating current, the coil becomes a component capable of storing energy. What form of energy does it store? Quite simply, it's an electromagnetic field. This simply means that an electric current passing through a wire creates a magnetic field around it, and when we wind the wire into a circle, that's when its magnetic field becomes larger. When we wind the wire around a few more times, obviously, it increases the magnetic flux of the wire. Once the metal is close to the coil, a circulating current, or induced current, is generated inside it. The induced current shows a circular swirl which is known as eddy current, and also this phenomenon is known as eddy current effect. When the eddy current flows inside the metal, because the electrons inside the metal are extremely active, they will violently collide with each other to form a thermal effect. The metal produces a large number of joule heat and release, and thus rapid warming. The metal will soon be heated to red. Then many people will question, since it can burn the iron red, the human body close to, why there is no reaction. In fact, not only the human body, wood or plastic will not react, the reason is that they simply cannot produce electromagnetic force. That is to say, the electromagnetic field will only be active on the internal electronic metal, can produce eddy current effect, and not produce electromagnetic force of the object, will not occur any reaction. This is the magic of induction heating. Induction heating like this can be applied to many fields, such as metal heat treatment, undersea pipeline laying, natural gas pipeline welding, and so on. In addition, we live in the induction furnace is also the use of eddy current principle to achieve heating, like this amazing physical phenomenon. In fact, simply put, is through electromagnetic induction, the use of eddy current in the object to generate heat to heat the conductive objects. This is the magic of electromagnetic induction heating.